Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive, especially to all our followers at C9 and on the business page. If you're an Australian business owner or maybe a C-level exec, you're probably wrestling with a pretty significant strategic headache right now. I'm talking about those legacy reporting systems, the ones that feel like they're actively draining resources. I'm Lex.
And I'm Vera. Yeah, today we're diving straight into something urgent, almost mandatory, really, the shift away from Microsoft's SSRS, reporting services, and moving towards what's next, Power BI and Microsoft Fabric.
Exactly. Our sources and, frankly, what we're hearing on the ground confirms that sticking with these outdated systems, it just leads to clunky reports, decisions getting delayed, and operational costs that are, frankly, just too high in this climate.
And it's not just about nicer-looking charts, is it? This really hits profitability.
Absolutely. So think of this as your essential strategy guide. We've pulled this from Microsoft's own guidance and real-world feedback from executives like you. So let's start there. What's the core catalyst? Why now? What's the strategic thinking behind this 2025 pivot?
Right. Well, it's official, a formal strategic move from Microsoft. The industry's calling it the SSRS sunset. Basically, starting with SQL Server 2025, they've consolidated all the on-prem reporting stuff under Power BI Report Server, or PBIRS.
PBIRS, okay.
Yeah. So they're essentially closing the door on standalone SSRS releases after SQL Server 2022. It's in its twilight years, officially.
2033 for maintenance mode sounds like a long time off, but you're saying the consequences of doing nothing start like right now.
Absolutely no. Maintenance mode, it sounds passive, but it means zero new features. And critically, that translates into escalating hidden costs, maintenance headaches, and mounting security vulnerabilities.
Right, security.
And when you map that directly onto the Australian market, the problem gets amplified. You've got local pressures, inflation, supply chain issues, pushing OpEx up.
Yeah, everyone's feeling that.
Exactly. So companies clinging to these old tools, they could be facing up to 30% higher operational expenses, according to some studies.
30% higher, wow.
And that 30%, it isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It represents manual workarounds, data reconciliation nightmares, things that just don't talk to each other properly.
30% though, it almost sounds like scaremongering.
Yeah.
What's the biggest hidden cost here? The thing executives often miss when they delay.
I'd say it's the cost of regulatory compliance. Seriously.
Right.
Australia's Privacy Act, the 1988 one, it's tough, it's stringent.
Right.
And if your reporting system is non-compliant, insecure, or just poorly governed, you're looking at potentially hefty fines. And the reputational damage, that can be massive. An old SSRS setup that, maybe can't integrate properly with modern identity management, that's like a ticking time bomb for data governance.
Okay, so it's not just slow reports. If you're missing growth targets because your reporting is slow, maybe insecure, needs people to manually crunch numbers, the pain is real. It's high costs, it's a lack of scalability, and it's falling behind competitors who are already using AI-driven insights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But look, the good news is there is a proven path forward. Migration isn't just a fix, it offers a clear lifeline. Real-time insights, reduced expenses, it's achievable. Our analysis today, it focuses on Microsoft's official guidance, making sure we're giving you a roadmap that aligns with actual strategic goals, whether that's, boosting revenue or slashing operational waste.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's look at this step by step, starting with that first absolutely mandatory step, the assessment phase. What does a proper audit look like?
Right. First things first, you need to map everything. Every single report, every data source, all the dependencies. Tools like the report server catalog can help here. But it's about taking inventory, classifying things, and doing a sanity check.
Can you just lift and shift everything, or is there conversion involved?
That's a great question. The good news is most RDL files, those are the report definition files, they migrate pretty seamlessly to Power BI paginated reports. That's a huge plus.
Okay, that's good.
But you absolutely have to identify any deprecated features, things like the older mobile reports, for example. Those were removed after SQL Server 2019. They'll need a full redesign. And crucially, for you as an Australian executive, this is the point where you verify compliance. You must ensure your data residency lines up with Fabric's Azure regions in, say, Sydney or Melbourne.
Got a compliance from the start. So once we've classified the report, simple tables versus the complex ones with custom code, how do we pick the destination? You mentioned PBRS and Microsoft Fabric. What's the real difference for someone at the C level?
Okay, think of it like this. PBIRS, the Power BI report server. That's like your secure hybrid badge. It's the on-ramp, it runs on-premises, it supports the paginated reports you already know, and it's often ideal if you have strict regulatory constraints or data sovereignty rules. Plus, if you've got SQL Enterprise Edition with software assurance, it's essentially free to use.
Okay, free is good. So PPIRS is the bridge, the on-ramp. What's Fabric then?
Fabric is the destination. It's the full end-to-end cloud ecosystem designed for AI-driven analytics. It brings together data integration, storage analysis, data science, the works. And it includes those generative AI features like Copilot.
Gotcha.
For a full migration to Fabric, though, you have to tackle the underlying data sets first, get them into the Fabric ecosystem. Then you can upload those RDL files into Power BI premium workspaces.
That distinction is really key. Okay, you mentioned complex reports needing calculations rebuilt in DAX. What is DAX in executive terms? Why does that matter?
Right, DAX. It stands for Data Analysis Expressions. Basically, it's the formula language used by Power BI, Analysis Services, and Power Pivot in Excel. Why it matters? Because it ensures your reports aren't just visual dashboards. They're accurate, they're fast, and they're designed to handle huge amounts of data, often in memory. Translating complex business logic from old SSRS code into DAX, that's what gives you the speed and scalability you need, especially if you want to move towards predictive analytics later on.
Okay, speed and accuracy. Got it. Now, here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a bit risky. Executives often look for shortcuts, right? Let's talk about the danger of the AI cowboys.
Oh, yes. This is a massive danger zone. We see it. You get tempted by these low-cost vendors, maybe using some, intuitive drag-and-drop automated tools promising an instant migration.
Sounds good on paper.
It does. But this vibes coding approach, as some call it, it often bypasses the rigorous structure, the deep dive into your specific business logic baked into those old reports.
So what's the actual measurable risk? What happens when you take that superficial fix?
Well, the sources are pretty clear on this. It creates brittle systems, you get data inconsistencies popping up, things fail when you put them under load, and crucially, the hidden bugs. They surface later, inflating your rework costs by maybe up to 50%. You think you're solving a legacy problem, but you're just creating immediate technical debt.
Wow, 50% rework. Ouch. And thinking about Australian compliance again, those misaligned integrations could be a disaster, couldn't they?
An absolute disaster. Those quick fixes often make existing data silos worse, or they completely overlook custom SSRS expressions that contained, specific, maybe legally mandated logic. Suddenly, you're risking violations of Australian privacy laws without even realizing it. You need precision engineering here, not just a quick template upload.
So the message is, avoid the cowboys.
Look for a partner who's collaborative, who ensures knowledge transfer, who trains your team. You need someone focused on a reliable, long-term solution, not just a quick patch job. Firms like C9, for example, they emphasize that partnership approach.
Right. Okay, speaking of avoiding pitfalls and mitigating risk, skipping the discovery call. People see it as a way to save time or money up front, but our sources say that's a huge mistake.
It's non-negotiable, really. Skipping discovery. It's like trying to navigate Sydney Harbor blindfolded, without a map. You're just inviting massive scoop creep, delays, budget blowouts. Suddenly, those legacy system pains feel small compared to the migration mess you've created. Good discovery actually accelerates projects, often by 20–30%.
Okay, so walk us through what a valuable discovery call actually involves. It's not just a quick chat, is it?
No, not at all. It's a structured consultation. It starts with initial alignment, maybe 15–30 minutes just listening. What are the triggers? Missing targets, high costs, and setting clear, measurable objectives, like we want to reduce reporting expenses by 20%. Then comes the deep dive, the proper consultation, maybe 30–60 minutes, sometimes longer. You're mapping decision points, hybrid versus fabric, what's the real need. You're establishing realistic phase timelines, usually 3 to 6 months, maybe longer for very large projects, and identifying potential barriers early on.
That level of detail must help with pricing anxiety, too. Let's contrast indicative pricing, the back of the napkin guess, versus discovery-based pricing. Tell us about that scope creep nightmare again.
Yeah, the indicative pricing trap. It's classic. A vendor throws out a loose estimate, say $50,000, based on, mostly guesswork.
Right. Sounds familiar.
Then, inevitably, complexity surfaces during the project. It always does.
Yeah.
Suddenly, that $50K, quote, balloons to $80,000 or more. Trust is immediately gone.
So that $50,000 wasn't a ceiling. It was just an opening bid.
Pretty much. The trustworthy method is discovery-based pricing. After that deep consultation, The quote is precise. It's collaborative, often quoted down to the nearest hour, component by component. We saw an example in the source material. Assessment, 40 hours. Migration, 120 hours. Total quote. A precise $33,000. No nasty financial surprises. Predictability.
Predictability is key. Okay, finally, let's touch on staging for ROI. Breaking the project into phases. How does that help the bottom line right away?
Staging is smart. It minimizes risk dramatically, and it builds internal confidence and buy-in. Essentially, you can create a self-funding upgrade path. So phase one might focus on getting the core high-priority reports migrated to PBIRS, the hybrid solution.
Quick wins.
Exactly. Quick wins. You get immediate efficiency gains, maybe 15–20% faster insights,
Oof.
and demonstrable ROI. Perhaps you save, say, $10,000 a month in eliminated manual work or old system maintenance costs right off the bat.
And that saving.
That initial saving can then be strategically reinvested. It helps fund phase two, the full move to Fabric, maybe integrating AI features, aiming for genuine predictive analytics. It makes the whole transition more manageable financially and operationally.
Okay, let's bring this all together. What does this mean right now for that Australian executive listening?
Look, mastering your SSRS migration, moving thoughtfully to Power BI and potentially Microsoft Fabric, it's not just a tech upgrade or a cost center. It's really a strategic investment in your future growth. It's about transforming those legacy pains, the high costs, the slow reports, the compliance risks into real opportunities for measurable efficiency, better insights, and ultimately profitability.
Makes sense. So if you're ready to explore this, maybe schedule an initial strategic consultation to map out your specific migration needs and really unlock your business's potential. C9 is Australia's leading custom software, apps, integration, and database developer company.
You can find us online and start that essential conversation today. The website is www.c9.com.au.
And before we go, here's that provocative thought we like to leave you with. The real competitive edge here. It isn't just migrating your old reports, it's actually leveraging the governance tools, particularly within Fabric, to ensure you have sustained, real-time predictive insights. So ask yourself this. What percentage of your current data insights are basically obsolete before they even hit your executive team's desk?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Facing every Australian C-level leader today.
Indeed. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. If you found this valuable, please do click that follow button and maybe share this with another business owner or executive you know who really needs to hear this essential strategy. We'll catch you next time.